You can't be logical. I don't see a lot of logical guys in excellent physical condition. We get to decide and own the fact that we're making the decisions that we're making so that we can be the men that we say that we want to be. My offering in this moment is that I think I broke one of my clients' brains the other day. I think I broke his brain the other day. We've been working together for better part of a year and navigating some challenges as it relates to the relationship, fitness, of the 5 pillars: faith, fitness, family, finances, and fulfillment. I would say all of them to some degree. Very successful guy and looking to really get his life into alignment. But one of the things is that he considers himself to be he calls himself logical. He's like, I'm a very logical guy. And he says it often. He's like, just based on logic, and he says logic. It's very, very often. Other than me having this conversation with you right now, I can't think of the last time I actually even used the word logic in a sentence other than with him or explaining this. So that being said, I was communicating with him. I said, you know what the truth is, man? Just from my experience and my perspective, I said, are you open to a reflection? That's what I do when I ask my clients, are you open to it? I say, if you've ever worked with me and I send you a message and I say, are you open to a reflection? Just notice something's coming. And so he said, yeah. I said, all right. I said, man, in my experience, man, you can't be logical. You can't be a guy who's based in logic. I said, what is the primary driver for decision making? Is it emotion or is it logic? I said, what's the primary driver for decision making? Is it emotion? Is it logic? And then he goes, well, it depends. He says it depends. And I said, well, he said, is it? He said, because it depends on kind of person, or depends on what what's happening. And then he said, well, I guess he said maybe. I think it's logic. He said, but then you would still have to have an emotional connection to a decision for the decision for you even to assign whether or not it was logical. And I said, bingo. The primary driver for decision making is not logic. Primary driver for decision making is emotion. We are, as human beings, men and women. I know this podcast is for men, but from a male and female perspective, we are 100% driven by emotion. As a matter of fact, capitalism is entirely predicated on emotion. Capitalism as a construct is predicated on emotion. What do you mean capitalism is built on emotion? And what the hell does the word predicated mean? All right, we're not gonna get into that. But the idea is look, it's entirely built on emotion. Capitalism is built on emotion. In sales, they teach you that we buy with emotion and justify with logic. We use emotion to buy. We justify with logic. Now let's go even deeper in that. What do you mean? First of all, why do cars have more than one color? Why would cars have more than one color if we're not driven by emotion and everything is logical? Why would we need multiple different types of cars if we were driven by logic and not driven by emotion? And why are commercials designed to make you feel something? Imagine that. Look, here's the idea. Imagine a company that goes, hey guys, we're going to create logical advertisements. All of our advertisements are going to be solely based in logic. They're going to be entirely logical. They're going to have squares and lines, and they're going to everything's going to make linear sense from start to finish, in and out, nothing. And this is going to be this is the direction that we're going to go. It's going to be called the Logic Company. That's what we're going to create, guys. The Logic Company. And we're going to create logical ads that give you the information and that give you the logic of the rationalization for why things are the way they are, but we are not going to make you feel something. Look, the people the idea that men are built on logic is illogical. It's illogical. The bottom line is that men as an individual, you can't be your decision-making process cannot be based in logic. The entirety of who we are is based in emotion. But so many people have this misconstrued idea of what emotion is, how emotion works. Many people think of emotion as sort of being, like the idea of emotional chaos. They think of emotion as crying and tears, and that's emotion. Look, there's 6 core emotions: anger, joy, fear, sadness, love, surprise. Those are the 6 core emotions. And then there's a ton of different other emotions that emerge from them. And the reality is that when we, as men, one of the most important things that we get to do is be in the awareness that our decision-making process is based in emotion. It's based on the way that we feel about something. And then we create systems so that we can navigate our own biases. There's over 180 cognitive biases. So that we can navigate our own biases. So we create systems to make sense of all of the different ways that we could, all the different decision makings that we could choose. So there is a logic, there is a sort of a pathway, and many guys say logic, but what they're talking about is a thought system. They've developed a system of thought so they can navigate decision making. And that system of thought so you can navigate decision making informs the way that you move throughout the course of the world. But trust me, brother, you ain't logic. That's not at the foundation of it. At the foundation of it is a feeling, is a way that you feel is going to inform everything. If logic was logic, then a lot of situations would not happen. Back to my client. When I told my client, I said, man, you can't be logical. I said, the truth is that if you were actually based in logic, you would be in better shape. I said, if you were based solely in logic, you wouldn't have the challenges that you have with your partner. So that idea that logic is the driver, I said, it's not logic, brother, it's defensiveness. When you say logic, it's really a form of defensiveness. You're protecting yourself. You're protecting yourself from some type of experience. You're protecting yourself from some type of feeling. You're protecting yourself from some type of ownership. You're protecting yourself from some type of acknowledgement. You're protecting yourself. You're blocking yourself. And when you're protecting yourself, you're not only protecting yourself, you're also blocking yourself from getting the wisdom. It's very rare for me to see guys that claim that they are logical be in excellent physical condition. It's very challenging. I don't see a lot of logical guys in excellent physical condition. I don't see a lot of logical guys making astoundingly, supportive decisions as it relates to women. It's the logic idea. It's the idea of the logic. It's like, and the reason why is because we're human. We are human. We are driven by the emotional core of who we are. We're driven in that way. So my offering in this moment is that the idea that you are logical is actually not supportive to your growth. Do you have logic-based reasoning? Do you have logic-based systems that help you to make decisions for you? Sure. But the idea that you are simply just like, I'm just a logical guy, I'm a logical guy, is really not an accurate assessment at all. We're all based in emotion. And men can't just be logical. Do we use logic? Yes. Is it the primary driver for decision making? Absolutely not. It is not. And sometimes it doesn't need to be. I live in Los Angeles, and these fires have been tremendous. The fires have been tremendous. They have been otherworldly. And I will tell you that in this moment, that many people, when they saw the fires coming, they decided to stay. They said, I'm staying. The factors associated with the wind, with the brush, with the fire, with the roads, with the complex exit strategies, with the things in the home. There's so many multiple factors. The idea that one person or some people would choose to stay, to many people, would not be logical. The fact that many people would choose to stay and to have that experience is not logical. And sometimes it doesn't need to be. Some people are like, I'm going to stay. And for that man or that woman that decided to stay, for that person, they say, I'm going to stay. And here's what happened. Some of these people lost their lives. Some of these people lost the single thing that we take for granted on a regular basis, which is their lives. And so the idea of that it is, they stayed because they felt like it was the most important thing for them to do is stay. And I'm not here to assess whether or not they made the right decision. That's not my decision to make. I'm here to say that if they made the decision to stay, that wasn't necessarily based in a logic it was only based in one decision. It said, look, I feel like this is the right decision for me. And some of those people's homes did not burn down and they did not perish. But those people made the decision that was right for them. So my offering to you is this. Men can't be based in logic. We're all based in emotion. And as we come into deeper awareness of what emotion is, how emotion works, and what it's creating in us, we get to decide and own the fact that we're making the decisions that we're making so that we can be the men that we say that we want to be. This is how we create greater possibility across the board, by understanding who we are, owning our decision-making process, and creating whatever the best system is so that we can assess and make sure that it's the right decision moving forward. Own the fact that that how you feel is what is driving the show. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next episode of Going All In. Firestarter out. Fuego.